Welcome, everyone. Let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking what is literally the foundation of a better world. We're looking at Sustainable Development Goals 16, which is all about peace, justice, and strong institutions. I'm super excited to guide you through this explainer because honestly, this topic is the absolute starting point for any real global progress. So if you're studying global policy or just want to understand how we actually build a safer world, you're exactly where you need to be.
You know, it's funny. When we say peace, we usually just think about the absence of war. But it's so much more than that. It's about living in a society where everyone is actually safe and treated fairly. In this explainer, we're going to see how peace and justice act as the solid bedrock of a stable society. Why? Because sustainable development is practically impossible without safety and fair rules. Think about it. Without peace and justice, kids can't go to school and local businesses simply can't grow. To build a better future, we absolutely must ensure that our laws protect everyone and that our leaders are honest. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover 5 key areas: ending violence and abuse, justice and legal identity, fighting crime and corruption, inclusion and fundamental freedoms, and finally, your role as the architects of peace. All right, let's start with Section 1, ending violence and abuse. If we want to build a stable world, our absolute first target is to drastically reduce all forms of violence and their related death rates, everywhere. That's Target 16.1. But Target 16.2 gets even more specific. It says we must end abuse, exploitation, and trafficking. Now, these aren't just big academic words. They represent very real, harmful actions, including the illegal trade and unfair treatment of human beings. We simply can't have a peaceful society while these practices still exist. And this brings us to who is most at risk. Most importantly, we have to protect children. Every single child deserves to grow up in a world entirely free from violence and torture. Ending the abuse, exploitation, and trafficking of children is a massive, absolutely crucial priority for global progress. If we don't protect our youngest and most vulnerable, well, the foundation of our entire society remains incredibly weak.
Moving on to Section 2, justice and legal identity. Second on our list, we must vigorously promote the rule of law at both national and international levels. Now, what does rule of law actually mean in practice? It simply means that our laws have to protect everyone equally. It's all about providing equal access to justice for everyone, no matter who they are or where they come from. Basically, no one is above the law, and absolutely no one is excluded from its protection. But here's a really important question. How can the law protect you if the law doesn't even know you exist? A huge part of access to justice, according to Target 16.9, is providing a legal identity for all. This includes basic things like birth registration. Having a legal identity means you're officially recognized by the law. You can access basic rights, go to school, or get a decent job. Without one, you're practically invisible to legal protections. We have to ensure every single person officially exists in the eyes of the law.
Next up is Section 3, fighting crime and corruption.
According to Target 16.4, we absolutely need to stop organized crime. Plus, we must significantly reduce illicit financial and arms flows. What does that mean? It means stopping the illegal, hidden movement of money and weapons across borders. These illegal flows act like fuel. They fund dangerous groups and totally destabilize our communities, making true peace impossible.
Another massive challenge to strong institutions is corruption and bribery. Target 16.5 says we must substantially reduce these in all their forms. Corruption happens when public officials use their position or authority for unfair or illegal acts, like, say, accepting bribery to change a rule or give someone a special favor. When leaders are dishonest, the public completely loses trust, and the whole system just breaks down. As a really fascinating example of how this is measured globally, we can look at the Corruption Perceptions Index. This index scores countries from 0 to 100 based on how honest or corrupt their governments are perceived to be. Back in 2021, Japan ranked 18th in the world with a score of 73 out of 100, which points to a relatively low level of corruption. Tracking numbers like this is a real game changer because it helps us see exactly where institutions are strong and where they need some serious work.
So what's the exact opposite of corruption? Well, Target 16.6 demands that we develop effective, accountable, and transparent institutions that people can genuinely rely on at all levels. Accountable means leaders actually take responsibility for their actions, and transparent institutions means they don't hide their processes from the public. When institutions have these qualities, citizens can actually trust their governments. Okay, let's dive into Section 4, Inclusion and Fundamental Freedoms. Target 16.7 puts a huge emphasis on inclusive decision-making. We need to make absolutely sure people from all backgrounds can actively participate in how their country is run. Decision-making must be responsive to what people actually need on the ground. Governance has to be representative of everyone, not just a powerful few. To succeed in all of this, Target 16.10 states we must protect fundamental freedoms. We've got to ensure public access to information, which is exactly what keeps our leaders honest and transparent. These basic rights must be protected by both national laws and international agreements. Without the freedom to speak, to learn, and to access information, well, it's pretty much impossible to build a fair society.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Architects of Peace.
I absolutely love this concept. Goal 16 is about creating a world where right is more important than might. Think about that for a second. It means that justice, fairness, and doing the right thing overpower sheer strength, power, or wealth. Whether it's standing up against bullying in your school or demanding honesty from global leaders, justice means fairness must always win. The truth is, we all play a part in building justice. As students learning about these global policies today, you are quite literally the architects of peace. You're going to be the ones to strengthen the rule of law, fight corruption, and protect these vital fundamental freedoms in the years to come. Just understanding these concepts is your very first step toward a much better world. I'll leave you with this question to think about as we wrap up. How will you help build a more peaceful world? Think about how you can actively promote fairness, transparency, and inclusion in your own communities right now. Let's work for justice together. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer on Sustainable Development Goals 16. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.